What's up, guys? It's Taylor Timothy with the Marketing Life podcast, and today on the show we have Spencer Ryan. Now, Spencer Ryan Photography is a photographer, of course, and this guy, I kid you not, I follow him on Instagram, and this kid shoots more than anybody I know. So I know for a fact that he's an expert when it comes to photography and getting those shots that you guys need for your business. So the reason why I wanted a photographer on this show is because your campaigns, obviously on Facebook, you need an Instagram, you need images, you need pictures. And so I really want our marketers and business owners to understand how much time and effort goes into photography and the process of hiring a photographer, what to look for in a photographer. So let's hear from Spencer Ryan Photography. Let's dive in.
All right, well, my name is Spencer Routson. I'm a photographer here in Utah County. I'm 24 years old. I started in photography back in high school. I was really interested in yearbook, being a part of that. It actually helped me be more social as well, because I got to meet a lot of people and be at all the events, which was really helpful to make friends and that kind of thing. But I wasn't good at it in high school, at all. And I was even told that by my teacher, who's now actually my coworkers, which is kind of funny. But and I love just going outside with different people, friends, and just taking pictures. Whether I didn't even have a good camera before then, and I just had my iPhone, which was not great. But that's kind of how I got into it. And then when I got back from my mission, I was like, I want to get into this even more. So I bought a camera, and then I upgraded, and then I just upgraded again. And just been going hard ever since.
That's awesome, dude. So what camera are you shooting on now?
So right now I've got the Sony A7 III.
Okay, why did you pick Sony over all the other markets out there? Why'd you pick Sony?
So it was kind of an impulse buy. I had a little Nikon D3300 to start out with, and then I saw a student who I worked at a high school, and I saw a student there, and he showed me, hey, Best Buy has this deal going on. The Sony a6000, check this out. And what caught my eye was that you could see exactly what the picture was going to look like before you took it. So instead of messing with the settings, taking a picture, then looking at it again, and then taking it again, you could see exactly what you're going to look like before you even press the shutter. So that's kind of what caught my eye, just being able to troubleshoot on the spot instead of that extra step. So just a little quicker, and I've just loved it ever since.
Yeah, who knows? You might miss the shot, right?
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. So, you got into photography, you're doing this, and so why are you an expert in being a photographer?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm an expert.
That's what everyone tells me. I don't classify myself as an expert. But seriously, man, you are an expert. You're doing this. Why are you an expert?
Honestly, I feel like that I've just been working at it so hard. I try and shoot constantly almost every day, and I actually had some really good training when I got back from my mission. I started working at this company called Camera Shy, and we did a lot of studio photography, families, babies, senior pictures, portraits, that kind of stuff. And I learned about lighting, and I learned how to use a Canon, which I still prefer Sony over Canon, but
that's a huge debate online.
It's a big debate. Yeah, it really is. But the reason why I feel like I've gotten so much better is because of the turnaround time. We were forced to take pictures for an hour and then give them back their pictures within an hour. So we had to edit 40 to 60 images within an hour, give them right back with different presets on them and all that kind of stuff. So our turnaround time was so quick. We had to be really quick, and so because of that, my turnaround time for any kind of session that I do is really quick. So people are impressed with that. And I feel like people over edit sometimes, and it doesn't need to be so crazy. Find something that works for you, your style, and it'll just stick with it. Try new things, but consistency is key. Just keeping at it, I feel like. And I feel like that's why I've had so much success, is because I've kept at it. And I've kept myself busy. I'm constantly reaching out to people and collaborating and all that kind of stuff. So I think just practice makes perfect. Not that I'm perfect, but practice makes you get so much better.
That's awesome. Keeping at it, keep going, and have a high turnaround. I like that. So how many collaborations are you doing a week about?
A week?
Or in a month?
In a month. There was 1 month, I believe it was back in May, where I did upwards of 20 some odd collaborations.
Jeez.
There wasn't a day that I wasn't shooting except for Sundays. But yeah, so now it's not as much as collaborations, more paid work. So now I'm doing like 2 a week, maybe 2 or 3. So it's gone down probably by half, but I'm getting paid from the other shoots, so not complaining.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So when your start off, you worked for free a lot then, and then you started getting paid gigs.
A lot.
That's cool. That's good advice, for photographers, upcoming photographers. You got to work for free first before you're going to start making the money.
Yeah, you got to show people that you're a go-getter and that you actually are down to create and do new things, but also that you're always busy. What's kind of funny about when people try and book with me now is that they're like, "Oh, you're so busy. Like, when are you available? Like, when can you fit us in?" And that is kind of like I'm very grateful for that, because I feel like I'm still like this kind of insignificant person, but like they're like, "When can you fit us in?" And so it's humbling, but also it just shows that all my hard work is paying off.
That's awesome, dude. So let's dive into some more of these questions. So tell us about, a photography shoot that just went completely south. A lot of people don't like to admit these things, but I think we can learn from them.
I worked with this company. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a Thai company. And they reached out to me, said, "Hey, we really like your stuff. Can we send you some ties and you find models to model for you and take pictures?" And I was totally down to do it, but I was doing all these collaborations at the time, and so it kind of hit the back burner for a second, and so that was my fault. But afterwards, I got the models together. The communication, I swear that this guy didn't speak very good English, just because of the way that he was emailing back and forth. They emailed me at like 2 a.m. every time, so it was kind of hard to communicate back and forth. They sent me all the products, and I just wasn't that impressed with the product. And so I took the picture, and I thought they were great pictures. I got my friend, Kaden and Maddie, they're married, to model for me. She even put on her wedding dress, and it was kind of a big deal. But when I sent the pictures back to them after editing, they just didn't like them at all. And I was very surprised. I was kind of like, well, I feel like it's good work, so like, what's wrong? They're like, well, it just doesn't match with your feed. It doesn't match with this, doesn't match with that. And I tried to explain to them that it's different when you shoot for products and that kind of thing, but they just weren't very understanding. And so I got significantly less money than what I was promised because of that problem. And so that one, not too happy about, but that's probably the worst one, at least the worst kind of communication and also experience I've had with another company.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sucks, man. Create stuff, send it back. So like overall, like, you had to learn something from this. So moving forward, like now, today, what are you going to do to ensure that doesn't happen again? Like, what are some things that you've learned from and applied into your own business?
So since then, I've definitely been very more upfront about what the client wants, specifically what kind of poses they're looking for, and how many pictures, and also kind of the coloring that they want, depending on what kind of product it is. And they do appreciate that. It's not that I need a lot of direction from them. It's that I want to make sure that I give them what they want. And I feel like they're a lot happier with what I give them because I ask those questions and I'm prepared to even go back and re-edit if needed. And I'm very flexible since then. And so I won't take on new projects unless I know that I have time for them.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, make sure your clients understand exactly what you want. Having good communication, definitely. Like even in online marketing, like I've interviewed a few marketers and it's the same advice. Like communication, I would say, is key for any small business, for anybody out there to have success. So that's awesome, dude. So diving into this next question, what was that first little success story of photography that you had where you were like, okay, I like photography and I can make this work?
I think there's a lot of like little successes that have brought me to where I am right now, but I feel like one of them was the first wedding that I was booked to shoot. And I had just kind of sticked with portraits and that kind of deal. And then a friend from high school, she messaged me and was like, "Hey, how much do you charge for a wedding?" and I said I'd charge you this, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like I kind of asked some of my friends like, hey, how much should I charge? Like I have no idea. Anyway, but they're really good friends, and they had a really nice story, and so I kind of connected with them right off the bat, not only just because they were friends, but because of like just their whole love story. And their bridals, it was up in Little Cottonwood Canyon at Albion Basin, and it was snowing when we went up there, and we didn't expect that at all, but they're just like beautiful. And I saw those pictures afterwards. I was like, I could do this. And like the wedding day, of course, was super stressful, but after you get a few weddings under your feet, then you're kind of coasting, which is really nice. But it kind of gave me that confidence, and they believed in me. I told them right off the bat, hey, this is my first wedding, just so you know, like I'm going to do my best, but also I'm very nervous. And they were so understanding. They were very helpful. And honestly, it was a team effort on that day, and I'm still so grateful for what they did for me.
That's awesome, man. Just like, so basically what gave you the spark was just the location, the shots. That's cool, man. So that's really cool. Is there anything that you learned from that shoot besides that you could do it?
Probably just to be prepared for all weather conditions. Always bring in
Make sure the bride has a coat.
Exactly. Or bring in a blanket for them in between shots, that kind of thing. But that honestly, you gotta find those good clients. It's hard, but they as long as they believe in you, then you're gonna be okay.
That's cool, dude. That's awesome. So what was your big Grand Slam for success story with photography?
Grand Slam, I feel like it's kind of been connecting, but so I did a shoot with this girl. Her name is Monica Moore Smith. She's she's a big actress here in Utah County as well, and has done some small films. But I shot with her, and then what happened is that someone followed me who followed her, and that was Madeline Page. And Madeline Page was on The Voice. She's a really famous singer here in Utah County. And since then, she reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do a shoot? And I said, yes, of course. And she wanted to pay me. I'm like, no, this is going to benefit me more than it's going to benefit you. I had like 2,000 followers at the time. She had 24,000 followers. And I was like, okay, this is out of my league, but let's go for it. Anyway, so she trusted me. We went out to the Saltaire, which is probably about 45-minute hour drive. And, which was very surprising because she didn't know me at all. We got to know each other really well. We talked about music. We talked about like our lives and everything, and we've become best friends ever since. And since then, because of that, I've shot her concerts. I got to shoot for her album cover with Deseret Book, which was huge for me. Also to see my work printed on an album cover, which is crazy. Also got to work with David Archuleta because he recorded on her album, which was big as well. And since then, it's just kind of been rolling, which has been great.
That's awesome. Working with some big peeps, it sounds like.
Trying.
Killing it. So what would you, how did this all come about? How did you, what would you say has helped you get to where you're at today?
Honestly, I think I want to say customer interaction, but at the same time, it's not even customer interaction. It's just interaction with other people.
So what are you doing to interact with those people?
So I'm on Instagram a lot.
How much are you on Instagram?
I just checked my screen time because that's a thing now. Just checked my screen time on my phone. This last week, I was on Instagram for 15 hours. So it's almost like it's another job. It honestly is. And what I'm constantly doing is I'm reaching out to people, seeing when they can shoot, what they want to do, if they're working with brands, how I can better cater to their needs, but also lifting up other people. There's kind of a tight-knit group of photographers here in Utah where we all work with kind of the same models. We have different ideas, but we all support each other. We all lift each other up. We all comment on each other's posts or message each other, say, hey, I really like this. Hey, I really like that. Can you teach me how to do that? And so I feel like collaboration is probably the biggest thing that's helped me so far. And it's kind of nice to see when people recognize, I mean, no one wants to be talked bad about. And I feel like I've done a good job about that. I try to be the nicest I can be and not be fake either. If I feel like I don't want to work with you, I'm going to tell you that because of such and such reasons, but I'm still going to be nice about it and upfront and just be the best person that I can be so that in the future, like, I'm well talked about. And so I feel like I've done a good job. I don't know, but just being kind and uplifting and trying to build each other up, I feel like that's what's gotten me the farthest.
That's awesome. So overall, what I got out of it was, networking, collaborating with people, and then treating those people with respect and really trying to up-level people.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man. I really like that tip. So diving into the speed round, this is the fun part, taking away photography, essentially. What do you do for fun when you're not shooting?
When I'm not shooting, besides editing?
Besides editing and shooting, like, what are you doing for fun?
I recently got into climbing at like Momentum Gym, or I do like to go to the gym, working out. Also video games.
Okay, what games?
Like new Call of Duty.
Okay, amen. I can say I play that too.
Xbox. I also just got a Switch. Been playing some Zelda. But I've been playing video games since I was a little kid.
That's cool, dude. I think we all play them. It's like a new fad, I think. It's cool to play video games now.
Yeah, it honestly is.
So any updates in the industry of photography?
As far as gear goes, there's always updates. There's always new products being sent out. I know that Nikon and Canon are coming out or have come out with mirrorless cameras, where Sony did it a long time ago. Just saying.
Amen. I'm a Sony fan too.
And but as far as my gear, everything goes, I'm kind of going to stick with what I've got for a while.
What do you got in your bag? Tell the audience what you got
right
in your
now.
bag.
I've got just my Sony A7 III, and I've got a Sigma 35 1.4, and that's what I've been doing all my portraits, all my stuff with. When I do weddings or events, I do rent a 24-70. Just got to get that zoom. So
yeah, definitely a nice camera, nice lens to have in those shoots.
For sure.
So favorite book overall?
Favorite book, Ender's Game.
Why Ender's Game?
By Orson Scott Card. That's it's just, I read it when I was probably in the 6th grade, and I don't know why I was reading that far ahead of my intellectual age, but it just impacted me that someone so small, someone so insignificant could do so much. And it's just epic to me, and I just really like it. That's why.
I really like that. The reason why I like that is recently I've had like this epiphany, I guess you could say, that a lot of times you think people are like super high up and they're so much different than you, but the reality of it is they're not. And so like you saying that, I'm just like, if you think you're the smallest thing in the world, you really are the biggest thing and can be the biggest thing you want to be. So I really like that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So favorite podcast, man?
Favorite podcast? I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but I got really into the serial podcasts. I don't know if you've heard of those.
I have not.
It's kind of a murder mystery type deal. There's a reporter who goes around figuring out a case from so long ago, and it actually went back on trial because of the evidence that they had found. And I haven't really kept up on it, but a serial podcast. I like listening to TED Talks too. Just kind of a wide variety of stuff. Yeah.
Cool, dude. So, favorite photography tool?
Ooh. Well, besides my editing software, Lightroom, my favorite tool. Shoot.
So favorite focal length. How about that? We'll go with that.
Focal length. I think it would have to be favorite aperture.
Okay, favorite aperture.
At 1.4. I never shoot at anything less than that. Like, honestly, I'm always trying to focusing on the eyes, focusing on the face, because that's what the rest of the picture can be amazing. But if you don't have the face in focus, like, I don't know what you're doing. But I really try and capture movement, and I've been trying to do that a lot more lately, just because not everyone can do that, and it's eye catching. And that's why I like it. That's
awesome, dude. So what advice would you give to like an upcoming photographer, like telling yourself when you were in high school, what advice would you give yourself? Just keep getting out there. You're going
you're going to do a lot of free shoots. You're going to be doing a lot of stupid stuff. But as long as you keep at it, as long as you keep shooting and keep getting better and reaching out to more people, networking is super important. You're going to kill it. Just keep at it. Just don't give up. And I feel like, honestly, my passion has become my addiction. And so that's why I love doing it. Actually, after this, I have to leave for a shoot as well. And so it's just find what makes you happy. And if this is what makes you happy, then why are you not doing it?
That's awesome. Your passion is your addiction. If you love it, then freaking do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen to that. So one of the last questions I always like to ask everyone is like, what advice would you give to a business that's looking to hire a photographer?
Definitely look at, first of all, their Instagram account. And sometimes I feel like you could look at their stories as well, because you can kind of see what kind of person they are by what they're doing in their free time when they're not shooting, that kind of thing. But make sure they have a website. And make sure they know what they're doing in all situations, because if you hire a photographer and they're not familiar with your location or the kind of lighting you've got, then they're going to feel dumb, then you're going to feel dumb, you're not going to like the pictures, that kind of thing. So just do your homework and kind of check up on them and see what they're doing and make sure that they're the right fit for you.
That's awesome, man. Last question off of this topic here. How many hours would you say you spend editing a shoot?
One shoot, let's say just like a regular portrait session, I shoot for about an hour. It's upwards of maybe 300, 400 pictures. And then I'll take probably at least another hour, hour and a half editing those. Just because, like I said before, how I worked at that studio, the turnaround time was super quick. With this, I've just gotten quick at it. And but weddings take a long time. Weddings take upwards of 4 or 5 hours, just because you want to make everything perfect. So it just kind of depends on the shoot.
Gotcha. Well, cool, man. Thanks for being on the show today. Tell the audience where they can find you at.
My Instagram is at Spencer Ryan Photo, and my website, spencerryanphoto.com.
Okay, if you guys need a photographer, you know where to find him. Spencer Ryan here. So thanks for being on the show, dude.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor.
See ya. Thanks, guys, for watching. That is Spencer for you. Some big takeaways with photography. Make sure that you guys are hiring your right photographers, people that are going to put time into your shots and really get that quality that you are looking for. You might want to spend a little bit more money to hire a better photographer. That's just my opinion. But if you guys need this guy, go find him online. And thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.